Bill Rowe, the defending champion, with already a commanding lead, 3 frames, $150. Out of Hamilton, Ontario, he's rolled 3 strikes. Graham from Thunder Bay. That's better.
That one, he was a little bit more direct, straight through over his head with the follow through. And Pete's hard and actually works at Mario's Bowl in Thunder Bay. All those got 3 in a row. 15-pound bowling ball practices about 15 games a week. See him line up, get consistent. Well, this one here, he's over on the left-hand side. And he hits the foul line. He's absolutely square with the line. Getting there, he angles a little bit, but he is so consistent with what he does at the line.
But leaving up the 4 will give the frame and $50 to Bill Graham, who's on the board. So 4 marks for Bill Rowe, 3 strikes and a spare. He leads in money and he leads in pin count too.
This is one of the few bowlers in Canada that could actually go out if he wanted to and put his mind to it and go play on the pro circuit. He's so consistent. As I said, he could bowl in the parking lot. He just works at the game. He was the 1994 Canadian 10th Confederation Trials champion. He analyzes the game. He works at it.
That one he seemed to get outside and it just came back a little too late.
This ball skids a little. Watch the ball go down the lane. It comes through it okay, and then it goes out a little further on there. Right there is where it starts hitting the wall, and then it doesn't get over to the 1 pin fast enough, the head pin, and as a result, pretty wild split.
Squeeze it over? No, he'll leave the 10. So the first open frame for Bill Rowe comes here in the 5th.
One of the things you'll see happen with somebody like Bill is they'll get behind the head pin. If you do that, you end up with washouts. You can end up with all sorts of weird and wonderful things. But then they can also fire 8 in a row at you or whatever. Graham just simply needs a mark here and you'll pick up another frame. The one thing about this is you can never give up because it changes so dramatically. We witnessed that in the women's events where we saw 2 or 3 of them go right down to the 8th frame and the game reversed itself completely. This could happen here. 3rd time out for the Pins game.
Oh, here.
That is not what he wanted.
Opportunity to pick up the frame. He'll score a 9 and so will carry over. I mean, that's better than giving him the money, but certainly Graham had 2 chances to put the money in his pocket, and he missed.
And the difference on there is that if you can pick up that extra frame, now you're right back into it. And you don't get very many opportunities, certainly against somebody like Bill Rowe.
You can see pin count is in Bill Rowe's favor. We're playing for $100 now in the 2 frames here in 6. Now, this was the lane that the ladies were complaining about.
They're having a little bit of a problem with it, or at least Bill is. Bill, well, I better explain that. Bill Graham, because we've got Bill Rowe and we've got Bill Graham. Bill Rowe is going out on a different angle and hitting the head pin in a little bit different positioning than any of the women, and certainly more angled than what Bill Graham is doing here. This is a tough spare. Very well done.
Manages to get this spare. Now on this lane, would they have done something in the preparation of it? Would they have maybe taken note of the problems the women were having, maybe oiled this lane a little differently? Well, conditions have changed since the women's.
Well, part of it sometimes is the texture of the wood, and they have to do a little bit of difference. They may turn around and take the oil down a little bit further or a little less, whichever way they wanted to try it, and dry out the back end. But what you try to do is get the last 15 to 20 feet bone dry, so when the bowler gets through the oil, then they get the consistency. Bill Rowe is not getting consistent on this.
Well, after rolling 3 strikes to begin the game, he's now had a spare, an open, and this spare. He needs this spare to force another carryover. It's worth $100.
Actually, he's up. The opportunity is here if Bill Graham can jump on it. Unfortunately, he missed that opening there where he could have got the extra frame, but we got the carryover. This one, Rowe has to be very cautious that he doesn't leave up the 8-pin in the back. Cranks it up pretty good.
Oh boy, back-to-back opens, and that will give the 2 frames and the $100 to Bill Graham. And just like that, as you say, it can turn so quickly. After Bill Rowe had jumped out to a $150 lead, now we're all tied.
Well, interesting enough, you notice that Rowe did a smart thing. It shows his experience. He stood there and looked at the scoreboard. He knows that his opponent, Bill Graham, is 86 maximum, so he's actually got a 27-pin lead. But Bill Rowe needs to get his head into this shot right now. Here is crossing over through the oil a little bit more. And again, there's the problem that you can run into. You get behind it. What happens is when you go from left to right, you're going way out on that far-hand side. He's crossing all the oil. Watch how far he goes now. He goes straight through here, right over the center arrow. Third arrow from the left, center arrow, all the way out. And as a result, it hits a little bit more oil on the far right-hand side. Does not get to the head pin. And he'll better do a carnival shot here. We're going to have an opening for Bill Graham to take a jump and gain pin count.
Squeeze it over? No. The 10 will stay. And so that is 3 opens in a row for Bill Rowe. And a great opportunity, again, for Bill Graham. Finds himself in the position where the Thunder Bay bowler can, with a striker spare, take the lead.
He can cut the margin of pin count down to 6 pins if he gets anything going over the ball. Now he got a tremendous break there because the 2 pins that have remained standing, he'd have had a bit of a problem. Watch the ball going down here. Now he's playing a little bit more direct, and he plays right over the center row, comes into the Brooklyn side, but there's the break right there, that first pin going down. Now he has to keep his head into this and go straight up and over.
Got it? He does. For the spare, he is sorry. We watched in the women's competition, 10-pin. Is Bill's girlfriend. And Bill, with the $50, has taken the lead now through 7 frames. We talked about the consistency of Jennifer Willis, and you know, there's your defending champion Bill Rowe. Starts off with 4 marks and now 3 opens. Just 3 opens is what Jennifer Willis had in all 4 games.
Bill putting a little bit of pressure on himself, possibly there. 103 in the 7th frame, and he needs to be cautious on this. He chopped one of the pins off earlier, so let's see if he can just readjust it. Through and over his head, and there you go, nice spare. So we could see this go right down to the last frame because Bill Rowe could win this now with the strike and get this thing open. And there's a little bit of a difference in the scoring. 19 pins separating the 2 competitors.
There is a lot of difference too, Frank, in the approach, the setup of both bowlers. Bill Rowe is more deliberate. Graham seems to pick it up and just throw it very quickly.
Well, this man is a devotee of paying attention and consistency to his game, and he's not getting what he wants right now. He's getting a total different reaction down at the other end than for what he expected. I'm surprised he hasn't moved quicker because he's had 3 opens in a row. And this one here is not going to be the easiest shot for him. Now, wouldn't be surprised if you see him leave up a corner pin when he finishes this. Because he's trying to make some adjustments. He's playing mind games with himself.
3-6-10. Needs the spare to force a carryover. Boy, that's a big shot for Bill Rowe.
Changed the quick, got the red ball out there, and was quite pleased with that. So that gets the carryover. He is so talented, and he's sooner or later, like in this kind of format where it's one game, anything can happen. But if you give him 10, 12, 20 games, he'll just overcome the games. He'll find a way to beat it. This is what makes him so consistent. That's why he's had 16 perfect games, including a triple of 851.
And we make that point about the Pins game is that you have to make that adjustment very quickly. You cannot wait and move boards and move your feet in the 7th and 8th when you're already down. You have to make that within a frame, maybe 2 frames the latest, early.
In this kind of a game, the only thing that would beat somebody like Bill Rowe will be the splits or the chop-offs. But if you go over a long-term tournament where you have 20, 30 games, we'll just keep adjusting and finally start stringing them out. And that's when it's really exciting to watch somebody with his talent. You can see them adjust right now. But, again,
came across the head pin.
He's trying to get his game going with 3-10. It's not going to be the years of spare. Watch this as he comes up inside again. You notice that the ball didn't go out as many. Probably about a 5-board difference on that one where it starts to hook down at the other end. Now this one, because of the way his ball hooks at the end, starts to rotate. It's not the easiest shot.
Good shot. Made it. Got the 310.
Now, a strike here with Bill Graham will give him a pretty good stranglehold. He can get 2 frames with 1 ball.
Well, if he gets this, he wins it. Picks up the $100 here, and it will be Bill Graham knocking off the defending champion Bill Rowe. Strike will put him through. He got it.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
What a dramatic turnaround in this opening game of Ben's 10-pin play. After Bill Rowe started out with 3 straight strikes at $150, it's Bill Graham who'll go through.
I like the little dance. You know what, that's exciting. That is really great to see. I mean, here you have, if you're going to take odds, you would certainly have gone with Bill Rowe. But what you witnessed here, Bill Graham throwing a clutch pressure strike when he really needed it and came straight through as he did there. A little deeper straight into the pocket than Bill Rowe was. And the advantage that Graham has, despite being open in the first frame, he just kept consistent. First 2 frames, you would never believe that he could have first 2 frames open and then come through in a dramatic fashion here to win the match.
So neither defending champion in men's 10-pin or women's 10-pin advanced. Terry Ryan Kayak losing out in the quarterfinals in women's play. And now Bill Rowe, the defending men's champion, is eliminated in the prelims.
There's our defending champion. Gives a lot of credit to Craig Woodhouse of this area for helping him a lot in his game. And there's no question in my mind whatsoever that Bill Rowe will be back in the future. And certainly Bill Graham is going to be back because he's going after the next match. Watch the consistency of how this man sets himself up. Lines up on the left-hand side, puts the fingers in deep. He's moved over a little bit. There he goes, right there now. He's so, you could lay a mark out on the approach there and he'd hit it the same way every time. I love watching how he splashes the pins. They send them sideways, cartwheeling all over. What a way to go. One, two, now watch him wander, and then he gets there, and then he plants his foot, and then he just comes right through it and rips the pins apart. Again, the same thing. Gets it in there, He's won this particular frame, gets 180, will be his final score. Should he pick up the single pin, but the fact is that Bill Graham will advance. So the frames were what determined it. The score did not come into play now.
And he'll pick up the spare. Bill Graham with a pressure strike in 9 when he picked up 2 frames, combined with that little bit of inconsistency, the 3 opens in 5, 6, and 7 by the defending champion Bill Rowe. And so Bill Graham from Thunder Bay moves on here at the M&M's Kings game.